and welcome. This is Whole and Beautiful. I am Angela Oliphant, your host, and I am so glad that you all have joined me for another night of what? Information, revelation, and change. It's another phenomenal Friday night that I get the opportunity to spend time with you. And thank you for allowing me in your homes, in your vehicle, wherever you may be listening or watching. I am so glad that you have decided to tune in on tonight. Like I said, it's going to be another phenomenal night. I am continuing to do some different things behind the scenes. I'm thinking about some different things that I want to do here on the show. So I'm going to be bringing those things to you all very soon. I'm working on those now, and I'm going to work out the details and get all that information to you. Yes, and so that we can have revelation and we can have change. If there's something, a topic that you would like to know about, or you're saying, hey, you know what, I want some information on this. If you want that information, send me an email, wholebeautiful@gmail.com, and I will look it up. I will study it out, and I will bring you a show with that information so you can get a revelation and it can bring about a change. Because that's what we do here. We're letting you know that Whole and Beautiful is the way to go. You know, it's not just your destination, that it's your journey. So I want every day to be whole and beautiful for you. You know, sometimes we wait till we get to the end of a thing and wait till we get to the end of something and say, oh yeah, I made it. And oh, that's great. But I want you to have fun along the way, fun on the journey, going to where you want to go. And how do you do that? By sitting and listening and getting this information and getting this revelation and getting some change in your life. Change is hard for some people, but you know what? It is great to change. It is great to open yourself up and be able to move with the change. And sometimes we don't like change because we can't control the change. It's like you want to control everything in your life, and you don't even you because you don't have control. Then that change is scary, because I can't control what's going to happen. But have fun, go with the flow, make some changes, do some different things, do something you've never done before. How about that? How about this weekend you do something that you haven't done before, something that you've wanted to do, or you plan it out. There's several things that I want to do that I have not done, and I have made myself a list, and I'm going to start doing those things. I'm going to start conquering some things that I wanted to conquer, some things that I wanted to try that I maybe was too fearful to try, too scared to do it. And I'm going to step out there and get it done, because you have this life, you live every day. Every day you open your eyes is another blessing, another day to give God praise, another day to honor him, another day to live, really to live. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to live every day. Guys, we have been talking about this month being Family Literacy Month. And I talked to you at the beginning of the month about some different books. I showed you some different books. And I'm still looking for some emails, wholebeautiful@gmail.com, if you want to purchase the book from Dr. Hines about the mask and wearing the mask. And I'm trying to remember, I was like, it's dealing with the mask, and the mask we hide ourselves behind, and we try to pretend like everything is okay. It is an excellent book, and it's not a long book, but it is a power-packed book. And if you want that book, you need to email me, wholebeautiful@gmail.com, because Dr. Hines has said if you purchase that book, you will get extra. So you're going to get a 2-for-1, or you're going to get some extra free things in there if you order that particular book. So come on, y'all. What you waiting on? Come on and order the book so that it can be a part of your life. And you can use it to change your life. Hello, guys. How are you? I'm back. If you can see me, hear me, and all that other good stuff, please let me know. I'm gonna try to do this way. Oh, if you can see and hear me, just let me know. I don't know what is going on, but I have some technical difficulties, which I had last week also, and to, I'm going to try to rectify those things. I don't know what transpired, what happened. I am going to try and see what is really going on. But anyway, I'm going to share a little bit with you on tonight, and then I am going to let you all go. Hi, Lynn. How are you? Yes, had some technical difficulties. I am back with everybody now. I am going to just share some things with you, and then I'm just going to let you go. It's going to be a short show tonight. I'm not going to hold you long or keep you long. But the thing I was talking about was that this is Family Literacy Month. And with Family Literacy Month, we've been talking about different things. We've been discussing different things that's been going on as far as like with families and reading and teaching your children to read or sitting down with your child and or a grandchild or even a student at a school and just sharing a book with them, talk to them, share with them. Why? Because reading is very important. It's important that we read to our children. It's important that we read even a book for ourselves, to sit down and to read a book. I was thinking about it today, and I thought about how, with even the Bible was left here for us to read so that we could learn, so that we could sit down and we would be able to comprehend what's in that Bible. So what we need to do is we need to be able to read. So work with those babies, work with those older kids who are maybe not into reading. Maybe you can start your own little book club with your child, with some kids in the neighborhood. Sit down, have a book discussion with them, have them read the book, then have them come back and you all share what you're learning from the book and what's going on with the book, because it will help. It will help with their comprehension. It will help with their focus. It will help in so many different ways. And that is what I wanted to stress to you this month was reading. Sitting down and reading. Back in the day, um, a lot of our ancestors, a lot of people in our families didn't even get the opportunity to learn how to read. They didn't have the teaching that they needed to put those letters together and to come up with those words. And some of them passed away without even having the opportunity to be able to even read their name or know what their name looked like in letters. They would just sign an X because that's what they did. And you know what? Sometimes we take it for granted that we can read and that we can write. Literacy means that you can read and write. And sometimes we take that for granted. We take it for granted that we can read. We take it for granted that we can write. We take it for granted those small things, the little things of signing your name, on a document or writing a letter to someone. We take those things for granted. And I want you to know that you need to take the time, even this weekend, when you're writing, like you write a card. I love to send cards to people. I love to send letters to people. I love just sitting down and being able to write something down to send it to someone. I know we don't get a lot of cards and stuff now because people will send you a text. They'll send you a text. They'll send you other little things, and people don't write like they used to. They don't send letters in the mail like they used to. Like I told y'all at the beginning of the month, I have a friend that I send letters to, and she'll send me a letter. I'll send her cards, she send me cards. And I love to just put things together. And I like it to be personable. I don't like to just get this generic thing and just send somebody a generic card and not even put anything in it, not even write anything down on it. I want to write something to you. I want you to know that I was thinking about you. I like to personalize things. When I say good morning to someone, if I even if I'm sending a text, if if they pay attention. I don't know if they do or not, but I use their name. Why? Because I want to personalize it. I want to use your name in the text that I'm sending to you. I don't want to just generalize it. So I want everyone to get back to writing, get back to reading. I remember when I sat down, when my mom would sit down with us when we were younger, and she would read those Bible stories to us. She would read different books to us, and then she would read us the Bible story. And then we had questions at the end of that Bible story to see if you understood what was read. And it helps you. It helps you in life when you know how to read and you know how to write. Those are two very important things that we need to know, and that's reading and that's writing. I'm going to share with you if I can stay on here. I tell y'all what, I don't know what is really happening. Hello, hello, Aunt V. I am in and out tonight. I don't know what is going on, but we are talking about reading and writing and how important it is for us to be able to read and to write. I'm just going to share with you some things that I was reading over today. It says that reading exercises our brain, and it does. It causes you to you when you're reading a book, you have to think because there's the different characters in your book. There's different plots, different things that's going on, and you have to remember those things. So it's helping you with your memory. Why? Because you have to remember, that it was Barbara over here that did this, and it was Shirley over here that did this, and Dwayne over there that did that. If you read a book with all those characters, you have to know their backstory. You have to know what's going on. And the only way you're going to know that is if you're paying attention and you're reading that book and you're able to focus. So when you're reading it, it exercises that brain because that brain got to remember. That brain got to be on and ready. It improves your memory when you're reading a book. So read a book, find a good book. I got a good book on my list that I want to read, and hopefully in a few weeks I'll be reading another book because I try to read a book like each month. I'm reading a book. I just finished a really good book, and I wanted to start on another book, so I took a little break, and now I'm getting ready to choose what my next book is going to be because I love reading, but I love things that are going to be beneficial to me and that's going to help me. I love things like I'm talking to you all tonight about information, revelation, change. I like books with information, revelation, change, but something that's going to grab my attention. I have read some novels, and I have read some other books who that are like informational books that's giving me information or sharing with me about my health, about different things that may be going on with you as far as mentally. I like to get the information. So get a book, read a book this weekend. Start a book this weekend. Reading is a form of free entertainment. Did you ever think about that? It's free to read a book. Because to me, it's almost like a movie. When I'm reading a book, it's like a movie to me. I can see the characters. I see the scene that everything is going on. I see what is happening. So I love it. I love sitting and reading because I get engulfed in the book. And when I was younger, I would get engulfed in the book. And my mom would be calling me, and she would just be calling me. And I would be like, I was so far into that book, I did not even hear her. They would have to walk up to me, tap me on my shoulder, or shake me, turn me around, do something so that I would know that they was there because I had got just that engulfed, involved in that book. I love a good book. So reading is a form of free entertainment. It's free. I love a good book with a blanket. And I told you I don't like the I haven't listened to the Audible. I said I was gonna get an Audible book so I can listen. But I like to hold the book in my hand. I like to smell the book. I like to sit with my book in my hand and read it. So we'll see. I'm gonna see if I can get like an Audible book and see how that goes for me. But I love to sit with a good book in my blanket, blanket, my book, maybe a good cup of cocoa or some tea, and I sit and I read and I love it. Reading improves your concentration and your ability to focus because you got to focus about what you're reading. That's why I was like, I love it to be quiet, or if I have some music playing, it is some soft like jazz or something, something real soft and smooth in the background. It's turned down low and I'll concentrate. But a lot of times I like to sit in the quiet and just read my book because then I can focus. It's almost like I told you, to me, it's like a movie. It's like I'm watching this movie. I hear everything. I see what the scenery is like. I'm imagining these people in my head and what they look like and what the room that they're in is like. It's just amazing to me. It's like a movie playing in my head when I read. But it causes you to you have to have the ability to focus. That's why it's good for our young kids to be reading because they got to focus on something. A lot of times they're jumping around from this thing to that thing. They on this device, then they move over to another electronic device, then they move over to something else, and they just jumping from program to program to program. And I watch it sometimes with my grandkids how they watch one thing and then, oh, let's watch this, oh, let's watch this, and you haven't even finished watching the first thing. And some of the things that they watch, I was like, how can you sit and watch, these programs? Not saying that the people that made them are bad or whatever, but it's like it's too much jumping around, it's too much moving around. They need to be able to concentrate, and it benefits you as you get older where you're not hopping from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. You need to be able to finish the book, finish what you're going through and listening to. So we want to look at it as a form of entertainment instead of having a device in your hand, instead of watching something on TV, instead of sitting there with your phone for like 2 hours and going through Facebook and Instagram and all the other grams and things that are going on out there. Get a book, sit down, read the book, get something you're interested in and read. And reading improves your literacy. It improves your literacy in the fact that you learn new words when you're reading books. Some words you didn't even know what they meant. I would have to stop with some of the books I'm reading and go and look the word up so that I could know what they were talking about. I thought I knew by the reading the sentence, and that helps you. It helps you comprehend when you're reading. It helps you to comprehend because when you're reading it and you see that new word and you see how they have it in that sentence, you're like, oh, well, I think this means this, but let me look it up. And then when you go look it up, it's what you're thinking in your head because you say in the context of the sentence, in this content right here in this sentence, this is what I think that it means. And our children need that. We need that as adults. We need to be able to know, okay, this is what this means. You need to be able to write. You need to be able to read. And I know, like in a lot of schools now, they don't have kids what I call writing, handwriting. There was print and there was handwriting where you wrote in cursive, and they were not requiring the kids to write in cursive anymore. And I was like, and when I'm in the job that I'm working, and you ask somebody to sign their name, and they're sitting there printing their name, I was like, oh, no, 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 you're supposed to write out, like in cursive, your signature, and they don't know how to do it because they have not been taught to do it. They just know how to print their name. And I'm like, wow. It was so important for us when we were growing up to be able to write. I wanted my signature to look a certain way. So I would do certain things. And I sat there practice my handwriting. I would practice my cursive. Why? Because I wanted my cursive to look good. I wanted my signature to not be like anybody else's, to be different and to be unique. So we need to teach our children. It doesn't matter if, or to me, it doesn't matter if the school is teaching them or not. If the school is not teaching them to do cursive, I can teach you to do cursive at home. I can teach you to learn how to sign your name and be proud of that. You need to be a reader, though. When you are a reader, and some people don't enjoy reading books, but you need to have the ability to read because when you are reading, you will start to comprehend, and we need to be able to do that because living our life, you're going to have to write and you're going to have to read. It's just that simple. Just like I told y'all with the Bible was left for us to read, to understand, to study, to write down things that we may get out of there. Why? To help us to grow. And you're helping your child to grow and you're helping yourself to grow when you read. And you're never too old to go in and read a book. You're never too young. I started teaching my children when they were very young. If they were interested in reading, we're gonna go for it. My younger son, he was really interested in reading, and the oldest was already reading. So I just started teaching him. He was like two, but he was so into it and he wanted to learn. So by the time he was four, he was already reading books that were on like first grade level. By the time he got in first grade, he was already he reading, like on a fifth grade level. He was already reading ahead, and he would get bored a lot of times, so we would have to they would switch out his class and let him go to the higher up grade so that he could be challenged because he was learning just so fast. So when they're pretending to read and the book is upside down and you like, yeah, baby, what's that? Because they're looking at the picture and they're coming up with their own story. Let them come up with their own story and then start teaching them the words. Why? Because it helps them. And that's building blocks. That is building. That is so important because now we don't look at it as being important, but I look at it as where we came from. And we need to take pride in the fact that we can read, take pride in the fact that we can sign our own name, that we can read a contract and understand what the contract is saying. And you're not getting like bamboozled or taken by somebody that knows the language and knows what's going on. You can read it for yourself and know what's going on. And that way nobody can get over on you with a contract or with something that they want you to sign if you don't read the paperwork. You just put your name on there. Or you back in the day, like I said, they put their X on there. They didn't know what the paper said. And a lot of people lost a lot of things because they couldn't read. Take pride in the fact that you can read, that you can pick up the Bible and you can read it. You can pick up a book and read it from cover to cover and finish it, and you can understand it. Not just read it, but you can understand the fact that you can write your name or sit down and write a letter. Guys, that is so amazing. It is amazing that you can do that you can comprehend those things and move forward with it. Reading is even known to improve your sleep. Wow, it relaxes you when you know your words and stuff. You learn your words and you don't let it get to a place where it's like frustrating. Because I have a grand that she may get frustrated because she wants to know the words, and some of them it's kind of hard. Good evening, Paula Olby. Thank you for joining us tonight. Sometimes it's kind of hard for her, but working with her words, you can see her eyes light up when she gets that word. You can see her eyes just, oh man, she's just so excited when she gets that word right. When she looks at that word and that word is what she think it is in her head, and she's able to even sound out and know new words. Then you give her a book and be like, hey, read to me. You can go to your grandchild, to your child, to whomever. Hey, you read the story to me. You tell me what's going on. That will bless them. That's a time, that's quality time that you're spending with them, and they are learning and they don't even know it. They are learning and they are benefiting from that time with you on so many levels. So let's do that. Let's let them read to us and we read to them. Let's discuss the book. Let's talk about it. Why? Because we want them to be able to read, to write, to comprehend, to understand, and to go forward in life. Everything that we do, we learn it by reading or writing. Sitting there listening, you reading, you writing, and you're paying attention to what's going on, and you begin to put those things together. Even with the when I started out in the mortgage department where I am right now, I was like, I have no clue about this terminology down here. They saying all these words and saying all these things, and I don't have a clue. But you know what I did? I started reading. I started reading the material. I know a lot of people's like, let the other person train you. I started reading the material. I started reading. I made myself a list of the terminology, different things that they were talking about. I started learning the definitions of what they were saying. And now I've been down there. This next month will be like 4 years that I've been in mortgage. And now I understand. I understand the terminology. I understand what they're talking about. Why? Because I took the time to read. I took the time to research it out and try to find out what was going on because I wanted to prosper in my job. I wanted to be able to speak to someone about mortgages. Oh, excuse me. And I couldn't do that if I didn't read. I can learn what somebody else learned. They can try to teach me, but it's better when I go in there and I read it myself. But we were talking about how reading improves the sleep. That's why you want to sit down with your child and do like a bedtime story, or your grandchild, or whomever. Or you may want to read yourself a bedtime story. Some of my best times to read are right before I go to bed. Everything is quiet. I get my book. I lay in my bed. I read a certain, so many pages. And then I'm like, wow, okay. And then I can close that book and go straight to sleep. It will calm you. It'll calm you. Depends on what you're reading, though. You might be like, "Ooh," because some books I was like, I got to stay up because I got to find out what happened, and I'm not one to go to the end of the story to find out what happened and then go back. Nope, that ruins it for me. I will stay on that page and continue to read, and I'll be like, "Oh, I want to know what happens," and you can flip the pages and find out what happened, but nope, that just ruins it for me. I want to read it page by page and see what happened coming up to what I want to know what happened. If that makes sense to you. It's like if you set your phone aside at night, put your phone to the side, turn that TV off, have some quiet time, and just be quiet and read. It's amazing. Try it out. You might just like it. Reading will increase your general knowledge of a thing too, just like I was talking about. I went in, I started studying, I started reading about mortgages, I started reading about the different things, and I started studying that terminology. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that means. And then it started making connections, and now I'm able to pretty much kind of sit and talk to somebody about a mortgage, explain some things to them about mortgages, and I'm excited about myself. I was like, okay, you did good. You went in and you studied the information. In any job, in any place that we're put in, if we can read the information and study about it, it will help you. It will help catapult you, kind of push you to where you need to go. Because sometimes we think people know all these things. They don't know. If you listen to it, it's like they don't. If they go read, though, they may know. And you may be like put in a position of promotion or a position where you can move forward if you just take the time to read about whatever it is that you're trying to do. Read about different things so that you can join in a conversation and talk to somebody. People listen to the news or they read. Back in the day they would read the paper. So they had conversation for people. That helps too. It increases your general knowledge when you read. You're like, oh, because like I said, expands your vocabulary because you're reading and you're like, oh, what is this word? Let me go find out. Oh, I can use that. And I used to make it a point to learn a new word like each week. I would go to the dictionary, pick me out a new word, and I'll be like, okay, you got to use this in a sentence. You got to use this sometime throughout the course of the day. You got to make sure that you use this word so that I can expand my vocabulary. Do y'all realize how many words out there? There's so many words that you can use, the good words. Sometimes we got a lot of words like swimming in your brain, and sometimes when things happen, But you can learn so much by just learning a new word. Reading is motivational. It can motivate you, whether it's a fictional book that you're reading, whether it's something based on a true story, whether it is somebody's life, a biography. When you're reading, it can be motivational for you. It can motivate you to go do what you need to do. You read some things about some people's lives and where they come from and what happened in their lives, and you see how they're living now, and you're like, oh my goodness, I never knew this happened to this person. How would you? Because you didn't know them growing up, but you were able to read their biography. You were able to sit there and say, oh wow, this happened to you, and this is what you're doing now. It encourages you, it motivates you. There are encouraging words out there. That's why we want to speak good words to our children and have affirmations and different things that they can have at their fingertips. Why? Because words will motivate you. Words can motivate you to go forward and to be all that you can be. And I heard, I think it was like Sarita Jakes. She said this a long time ago, and it stuck with me. The little thing about sticks and stones. But when we were little, people said sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me. But it says no. She was saying sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can kill my spirit. And we have to realize how powerful words are. Somebody may have hit you when you were little or something. You got in a little tiff, a little fight with somebody, and they punched you or they hit you, and they hit you. That lick is gone, and then later on, y'all are friends, and you going about your business. But somebody said something to you that really hurt you and really dug into the very core of who you are. You could be 50, 60 years old, and you still remember those stinging words. You still remember those words from back when they said them. And every time you hear them, it's like you're reliving, you're going through a traumatic experience all over again, all because of a word that was spoken. Words are powerful. So with that, I'm saying be careful about what you read too. You want to read something that is, going to relax you, something that's great, something that's wonderful, not something that's going to instill fear into you, not something that's going to downgrade you, and not something that's going to cause you harm. But then we have to remember that our words are powerful. Our words are very powerful. So we need to be careful about what we're speaking as well as what we're reading because it gets embedded into you. Words can get embedded and it seems as though they live forever. Words can live on forever. Think about that. Reading can reduce your stress. Why? Because you're going to sit down, you're going to be quiet. It has the power to transport you to another place. Just like I told you, it's like I'm watching a movie when I'm reading a book. It's taking me to another place. It takes me out of the place where I am, where I'm in this other place and I'm seeing this movie and I'm watching this movie in my head as I'm reading. So, and it can reduce stress. So it takes the stress level down. Sometimes we have to decompress. We have to be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna sit. And some things you read are like meaningful and yeah, all the motivation is there. Some things you'd be like, it's just mindlessly, you're just sitting and you're just reading. It's just relaxing. You learn a few things. You might laugh about some stuff. It may be something funny, but it will reduce your stress level. It will decrease your stress. Try reading. Try a good book this weekend. Also, reading sets a positive example. You set a positive example for those around you when you're reading. When you are reading a good book and you're sharing that with somebody else, it's positive things that happen because they see you reading. Just like I told you with my kids, they would see me reading. So it's like I want to read. Mom, let me read. Let me read. So now I'm like, okay, well, let me get you a book so you can read. Now you're gonna talk to me about this book. We're gonna talk about this book. We're gonna share about this book. I want you to tell me, something you learned from the book. Why? Because you want to encourage the reading. You want to encourage the writing. You want them to be able to read. You want them to be able to write. And even if you're older and you don't know how to read, you need to get to somebody and say, hey, I want to know how to read. I want to be able to look at that and know that that's my name, know how to spell my name, know how to write my name, know how to read, sit down and read a book and be proud of myself that I read it. I get so excited when I get a new book, and like I said, I got my eye on one book in particular right now, and I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna read it because I know it's gonna be good, And some things that I read, I'll read part of it, and then I have to take a break from it, and I'll go back to it. But during this month of Family Literacy Month, I want you all to read. I want you to read to your children, to your grandchildren. I want you to read to yourself. I want you to share a good book with somebody else. Let them know, hey, read this book. It can encourage you. It's going to help you. And also, right, send out. We're moving into the time of Thanksgiving right now, and pretty soon we'll be walking into Christmas. Why not get some Christmas cards and write in the card? Share something with somebody that's going to encourage them. Share something with somebody that's going to build them up. I love to send out cards, and I think that's what I'm going to do this year. I haven't done it in a while, but I think I'm going to do it this year. So if you send me your address, wholebeautiful@gmail.com. If I don't have your address, if you will send me your address, wholebeautiful@gmail.com, send me your address, your P.O. box or your regular mail. Send me your address. I will send you a Christmas card. How about that? And I like to personalize it. So I'm not gonna just get a card and just stuff it in an envelope and just send it to you. I will put a nice little message in there because I like to write and I like to put those out. But you got to get it to me because I got to get them sent out. The mail slows up during Christmas time. So if you would send me an email at wholebeautiful@gmail.com, I will send you out Christmas card, but I need your address because I'm going to mail it. Yeah, it's like it's quick to send, a little text. It is, but to get a card, I love getting cards. So because I love to get a card in the mail, I would love to send you one. So like I said, send me an email, homebeautiful@gmail.com. Guys, my time is up tonight. I am so glad that y'all hung in there with me because I don't know what's going on with my electronic devices, but they are not playing with me well right now. But I was able to get back in and get back on, and I am so excited about it. I want you all to have the most amazing weekend. Read a book this weekend. Enjoy a good book with somebody else. Start a book club with your children. Start a book club with your grands, with other people maybe in your neighborhood. It can be two or three of y'all just reading a good book and getting together to discuss it, to talk about it. It will build friendships, it'll build relationships, it will build community. Just to be able to sit down and talk to somebody about a book. How about that? But until we meet again next week, Friday at 7 p.m., I am Angela D. Oliphant, allowing you to see, hear, and know that Whole and Beautiful is not just your destination. It is most definitely your journey. And if you missed any part of this and you would like to re-listen, go back in and listen to it again, you can hear it again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Okay? So tune in and let somebody else know that Whole and Beautiful is out there. Tell them, oh, that's a good show. You need to tune in and hear what she's talking about. Okay, guys, this is it for tonight. Love you much. I will talk to you again soon. Have the most amazing weekend and make sure you do what? Read, read, and maybe write a little note to somebody this weekend. Okay, have a good night, guys. Love you much. Good night.